Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I'm going to be discussing Conor McGregor and how I believe I have his confirmed opponent for UFC 300. Let me know down below in the comments before I even get into this video. Let me know down below in the comments who you believe Conor McGregor will be fighting UFC 300. And before you even hear my opinion, before you hear my take, make sure to like the video, make sure to subscribe, and let's get right into it. So Conor McGregor recently, or at least over the past several months, has been eyeing a return date. We've constantly heard, oh, Conor McGregor, early 2023, he gets announced to, do the Ultimate Fighter. I believe that was in January. Dana White announced it, and we were like, holy crap, it's the return of McGregor. It's the return of the Mac. Everyone was going wild. Just, turns out that Conor McGregor was actually never going to fight Michael Chandler, or at least it doesn't look like he's going to fight Michael Chandler. There's still a chance that fight happens, but it's very unlikely. Barely even shows up to the Ultimate Fighter. Has one of the worst coaching performances I've ever seen in my entire life. He literally almost had every single one of his fighters lose. And people are going to make a litany of excuses. Oh, he chose the underdogs. Oh, this and that, whatever. I don't care. I don't watch The Ultimate Fighter. I don't pay attention to it. If you've seen it once, you've seen it all. I've seen an Ultimate Fighter season before. I'm never going to watch another one again. I don't care. It's terrible. It's just not my cup of tea. If it's yours, that's okay. Not for me. But Conor McGregor barely shows up for the Ultimate Fighter. He's literally a horrible coach. There was multiple clips, and there was even one instance where, Michael Chandler had a fighter. I believe there was a fighter that missed weight, whether it was Conor's or Chandler's, and Conor McGregor and his fighter and Chandler and his fighter needed to all be in a meeting together to discuss how they were going to move forward. If they were going to reschedule the fight at a different weight, what they were going to do, all the different aspects of this. Michael showed up. Michael's fighter showed up. Conor's fighter showed up. Guess who didn't show up to the meeting? Conor McGregor deliberately just didn't show up to the meeting. His head, like I said, he's just like the MMA media. He's got one foot in the grave, another foot on the banana peel. And, in both hands, he's holding one bottle of Tito's, and the other is just a whole bag of cocaine, right from Pablo Escobar's ghost himself. You know what I mean? It's incredible how Conor McGregor has managed to stay relevant in the UFC when he's literally a coke addict, convicted sex offender, whatever you want to call him. I know he's not technically convicted. I don't know about all the ins and outs of that, but he's bringing random women into the public restroom of NBA Finals games while he has a wife and children at home. Just weird. Weird dude, very weird dude, clearly out of his mind on drugs, alcohol, clearly not training, not in the gym, not, being a diligent fighter. He's not getting the extra rounds in, putting on the wrestling shoes, ready to go 10 more rounds, Khamzat Chimaev style, Alex Pereira style, Alexander Volkanovski, blue-collared mindset. That's clearly not Conor McGregor. Maybe it was when he was in his prime, his heyday, back 2015, 2016, but at that point, we're literally bringing up Uncle Rico moments, oh, coach would have put me in fourth quarter, we would have took states, you know what I mean? We're literally having to go back into a time machine to justify Conor McGregor's skill set and all these different things, to justify why Conor McGregor would even deserve a high-ranking fight at this point in his career. You know what I mean? He has not won a fight in lightweight since 2016. Think about that. The last fight that he won in the lightweight division was against Eddie Alvarez, which, don't get me wrong, was an incredible performance against an incredible fighter in Eddie Alvarez. Of course, not the greatest fighter of all time, but you know what I mean? Conor McGregor literally has not won a fight at lightweight since 2016. He has not won a fight since he fought Donald Cerrone in arguably the stupidest fight of all time back in 2020. Donald Cerrone literally came out himself and said, I wasn't even in that fight. Like, my head was not in the fight. I was literally just there for a paycheck. And, that's exactly what he got. Dude got finished. Dude was literally on Crip Street from, elbow shots in the clinch. Some dirty boxing by Conor. I mean, it was absolutely embarrassing. One of the worst performances I've ever seen in my entire life. One head kick and he was just done. You know what I mean? But Conor McGregor has been eyeing a return date, and it's kind of been speculated for a long time. Different cards. Is it going to be the last card of the year? People are always bringing up, oh, Conor McGregor tweeted this, Conor McGregor tweeted that. The MMA media literally gargles Conor McGregor's ballsack whenever he tweets something. Conor McGregor, the MMA media will sniff a fart out of Conor McGregor's ass the way that they report every single tweet that he makes. Oh, Conor McGregor eyeing return date, UFC 297. Oh, 297's booked. You know what I mean? Strickland versus Duplessis. Not happening. Conor McGregor is not happening on that card. Oh, Conor McGregor says he's eyeing a fight, early 2023. Conor McGregor says he's fighting Michael Chandler. Then Conor McGregor says, oh, I'm not even fighting Michael Chandler. We're actually looking for, Conor McGregor and Dana White literally both said, oh, yeah, we're looking for someone else. Imagine, the true loser in this whole situation is Michael Chandler at the end of the day. Look at Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler was literally brown-nosing Conor McGregor for like the past year. He's been brown-nosing him, begging on his hands and knees for that red panty night to get the one mega fight, the money fight. Conor McGregor, oh, Conor, please fight me. On his hands and knees, just brown-nosing him, sniffing farts out of his ass, begging Conor, all those clips. You know what I mean? It's just all those clips that were, releasing from The Ultimate Fighter of him literally just deep-throating Conor McGregor. It was embarrassing. I mean, truly, it was embarrassing. Michael Chandler, I would be embarrassed to be his wife. If I saw, if Michael Chandler was my dad and I saw him just throating another man like that on camera, I would be like, yo, that's not my dad. You know what I mean? At least his kids have an excuse. You know what I mean? They're adopted. They can, say, oh man, that's, I don't know that guy. I'm not associated with him. You know what I mean? I gotta chill out. But I mean, at the end of the day, Michael Chandler's the biggest loser in the situation. But then there's the whole situation with USADA and Conor McGregor isn't going to be fighting the whole. He's not going to be fulfilling the 6 month time experience thing. And then Conor McGregor says, no, I actually am. And then he's saying, oh, I'm not going to be able to make the UFC 300. And then the next day he's making a tweet saying UFC 300, I'm in. We don't really know. At the end of the day, the answer to this question is what Conor McGregor, what version of him's coming back, when is he coming back, who's he fighting? All these questions are completely unknown. And before you try to pull up a tweet that he said or this or that, the tweets don't mean anything. I do not take Conor McGregor's tweets seriously. And I believe, frankly, anyone that takes Conor McGregor's Twitter page seriously is an absolute idiot. Like, you're wasting your time, essentially. You're literally wasting your time if you take Conor McGregor's Twitter seriously. You know what I mean? Just the other day, he's making fun of a dead man. He's literally making fun of one of his rivals' dead fathers to try to justify all of his different, literally demented hate towards certain groups of people, because he was beaten by Khabib Nurmagomedov. Literally got smashed. He had his face smashed into the canvas. October, I believe it was October 14th, 2018, Conor McGregor had one of the most embarrassing beatdowns of all time handed to him by Khabib Nurmagomedov, face smashed into the canvas. And now, we're literally 4 years removed from the whole situation. Islam Makhachev has defeated, Charles Oliveira in October. He defeated Alexander Volkanovski in October. And, the kind of Dagestani era continues to grow, whatever you want to call it. And Conor McGregor, 4 years removed from this whole situation, is still tweeting about Khabib Nurmagomedov's dead father, trying to justify hate against him, all this different stuff. I mean, it's absolutely pathetic. And Conor McGregor is not only a piece, he's a piece of crap. He's a terrible person for that. He's also just an embarrassment. You know what I mean? He's literally an embarrassment. Conor McGregor is like a toxic ex-girlfriend that just won't shut up about you. You know what I mean? He literally cannot keep Khabib's name out of his mouth. It's ridiculous. I don't even talk about Khabib on this channel that much. I'm a fan of Makhachev. I'm a fan of Khabib. I don't talk about them. Conor McGregor is obsessed with them. It's ridiculous. He's obsessed with every Dagestani fighter. But at the end of the day, we don't really know. Now, there is a theory, though. I do have a theory on who Conor McGregor will come back against. Now, he recently did an interview, and I know I say don't take his words seriously. He recently did an interview saying that he's looking for a tune-up fight. Now, I'm not going to take that at face value, but I am going to at least throw it into a conversation. He's looking for a tune-up fight. Who could that possibly be? Well, as far as tune-up fights, I believe, if I'm going to be honest, I think he's going to look for Dan Hooker as a tune-up fight. I think that Conor McGregor versus Dan Hooker is a winnable fight for him, although I might even pick Dan Hooker to win. I don't know. We haven't seen Conor McGregor in damn near 3 years at this point. I don't know what he's going to look like. That's a winnable fight for him. It's a name that fans know. Even some of the casuals are going to recognize, oh, that's the Dan Hooker guy. They couldn't name a single Dan Hooker win, but they're going to be like, oh, yeah, that's that Dan Hooker guy. He exposed Islam Makhachev. He really exposed him. She really showed Makhachev and his whole team. You know what I mean? They're going to recognize that name. They're going to recognize Conor McGregor, obviously, and it's a fight that can work. But the other fights that he's looking at, and I truly believe these are the other fights that are going to happen. Gun to my head, these are the top 3 fights that are going to happen. Either Conor McGregor is going to fight Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz can get re-signed to the UFC. It's going to be a tune-up fight. Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz 3. Conor McGregor is going to fight Dan Hooker at some point after Dan Hooker hopefully beats Bobby Green. I'm picking him to win that fight. I think he TKOs Bobby Green. I think that win is going to kind of escalate him. I think he's going to wait to see how that fight plays out. Because if Dan Hooker gets a crazy knockout over Bobby Green, he's going to be like, oh, I need a tune-up fight. He might be the guy. Of course, if he has too good of a performance or if he even shoots a takedown, Conor McGregor's like, nope, not fighting that guy. Nope, someone else. Please, Dana, save me. You can't give me someone that can actually beat me. You know what I mean? I think that he's got to be looking at that Dan Hooker fight. He's going to be looking at Dustin Poirier. I believe Conor McGregor, after he saw Dustin Poirier get brutally knocked out by Justin Gaethje, I think he's like that meme of that dude in the yellow suit sitting behind the tree rubbing his hands together. He saw Dustin Poirier go out cold from one head kick, and he's like, man, that's a really winnable fight. Dustin Poirier seems to be on the downslope of his career. That's a really winnable fight for me. And then lastly, of course, the Michael Chandler fight. It's always been on the table. It's always been there. And then just kind of a other option that's probably not going to happen is Justin Gaethje. Man, the things Justin Gaethje would do to Conor McGregor at this point in his career, yeah, I don't even want to talk about it. That would be a hilarious fight to watch, though. I would love it. I would love to see Conor back in there against the highest level of competition. I don't want to see him take all these different tune-up fights. I want to see him get thrown right to the killers. Because if he's still at the top, I love to watch him fight. I don't like Conor as a person, and I don't like how he handles himself as a man. But at the end of the day, he's still a very exciting fighter. I cannot remember the last Conor McGregor fight that was boring. Habib fight, amazing. All of his fights in featherweight, amazing. His fights with Dustin, amazing. Even the ones where he's losing. It doesn't matter if he's winning or he's losing. It doesn't matter if he's being dominated or dominating. Conor McGregor is an exciting fighter. And, he pulls pay-per-views. He's an incredible fighter. Now, I personally don't care about pay-per-view numbers because I don't get paid by the UFC. People are always talking about, oh, this guy's a pay-per-view draw like Colby Covington. Oh, my gosh, he deserves a title shot. He's such a pay-per-view draw. Now, I don't get paid by the UFC. I don't get a cut of the revenue, so I don't really care if you're a pay-per-view draw or not. Pay-per-view draw, whatever that term even means these days. But at the end of the day, he's a huge star. He pulls in a lot of eyes. He's an incredible fighter. He's very exciting. He's never in a boring fight, win or lose. And, he knows how to sell a fight. You know what I mean? It's always exciting. Watching him on the mic, watching him in the ring, it's always going to be exciting. Now, it doesn't, it's going to be very interesting to see what kind of version of Conor McGregor we see back. He hasn't fought in almost 3 years. Last fought in July or, it was summer of 2021. Breaks his leg against Dustin Poirier. Hasn't fought since. He's been blasting himself with steroids the whole time, making all types of excuses with USADA. USADA even comes out and basically admits Conor McGregor is on steroids. But at the end of the day, it's going to be exciting. Those are my picks. Gun to my head, who's it going to be? It's really hard to kind of pinpoint one guy. I'm bouncing between all of them. Pause. But at the end of the day, if I had to pick one guy that I'm most confident that it's going to be, if he's saying tune-up fight, it's going to be Dan Hooker, in my opinion. Could be totally wrong. Could be totally and utterly wrong. If he's saying tune-up fight, I'm going to lean Dan Hooker. If it's just a regular fight, with Dana saying that they're kind of moving on from Michael Chandler, who, by the way, once again, I feel terrible for. He's been completely ran through like one of Conor McGregor's ladies that he's bringing into the public restroom of an NBA Finals game. You know what I mean? He literally has been ran through. I believe it's going to be Dustin Poirier. It's either going to be Dustin Poirier or Dan Hooker, at the end of the day, Dustin Poirier versus Dan Hooker is a fight they can sell. If that Conor McGregor fight doesn't happen, maybe he fights Chandler. I'd love to see Dustin versus Hooker. The second fight, the rematch. The first fight was incredible. One of the most underrated fights I've ever seen in my entire life. And I would love to see that fight get run back. Dan Hooker gets a crazy win over Bobby Green. Dustin Poirier just took an insane loss. I'd love to see those two clash again. Two incredible warriors. Love to see it go down again, throw down. Incredible fight. It's going to be a classic banger, instant banger, guaranteed banger. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you do not miss another upload. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.